possible, and I'm going to keep it simple so that at the end of the day, everybody goes home with something. And 2024 is going to be a year that we're going to live more healthy and more productive lives. So quickly, while we start, or before I go into the lecture, I want us to think for a second about a country that you know or you think that they are known for longevity. They are known for living long. Then on the other hand, I want you to think about a country that you know that they don't live so long, right? According to statistics. Then I also want you to think about the reason behind this, just one reason. Just a second. I want us all to do that for a second. Okay? And the reason why I want us to do this is because I want all of us to be to the same vibe. I want all of us to be on the same page. That will lay the foundation of this talk. So I'm sure you have thought about that. And now I'll give you statistics from Worldometer. This was taken from the latest United Nations Population Distribution Estimation. Now, according to them, the countries that have the longest lifespan are countries like Japan, countries like South Korea, countries like Sweden, countries like Norway, Scandinavian countries, right? And then according to them, countries that have the shortest lifespan are countries like Chad, countries like South Sudan, countries like our beloved Nigeria, right? Now, I want to say quickly that this is according to their statistics. I personally don't believe 100% these numbers. Not that I'm undermining their numbers, but because just like the topic of this session is the 7 secrets of healthy living, if you key into these secrets, this report or these numbers can change. So I want us all to have that back of our minds and at the foundation for this talk. Is somebody sharing my slides? So yes, the topic is 7 secrets of healthy living and a productive life in 2024. We're about to get started now. So just as I have said, there are some countries that enjoy longevity. They live to like 100, they live to like 80, right? And then there are some countries, like I've mentioned in Africa, that the lifespan, according to statistics, is 50, 60. And you can see that this is a huge gap. From 50 to 80 is like 30 years difference. Why? We're going to find out. We're going to look at this. Yes, I've introduced myself. Yeah. So what is a secret, really? A secret is basically something that is not commonly known or is taken for granted. Because at the end of this session, you are going to agree with me that most of the things that I'm going to talk about are not really secrets. They're actually things that are attainable, things that are there. It's just that most times we take them for granted, so they look like secrets. So secret number 1, I hope you are seeing my slides there. I'm on page 6, secret number 1, the secret of diet. The secret of diet. You know, our counterparts who are living longer lives, our counterparts in the Scandinavian countries, you can share slide. No, somebody has my slide and should be sharing them. Because I just saw a chat now. Okay. Let me know if my slides are being shared, because it's also very important for you to visualize what I'm saying. Okay.
The slide should be up. Please, can you see it?
I need them to confirm that they are seeing the slides.
Yes, we are seeing it. Yes, we are seeing it.
Fantastic. So secret number 1, let's get into it quickly now. Secret number 1 is the secret of diet. What is it that these people in the Scandinavian countries, the Japanese, online people are not seeing the slides, please. Magben, could you help us share with the online? Is it possible?
Why? They are seeing it.
They should be seeing it.
Online.
That is the person's network.
Online,
yes.
People are saying they are not seeing it.
It could be the person's network. Maybe the person can go out and come in, but the slide is up.
Wow. Fantastic. So secret number 1 is the secret of the diet. they are still saying, another person is saying they're not seeing it. I'm sorry, the online community. And I think it's really important that they see it. But I'll still continue. Okay, so the secret number one, or should I try and share from here? I'll be able to do it. I'm using my laptop.
It's fine. I'm sure the person may just need to go out and come in again.
Okay, fine. So secret number one is the secret of the diet. What is it that our counterparts in these places, the Japanese, the Swedes, the people in Scandinavian countries, what is it that they are eating that we are not eating that is making them live longer, right? Because we all know, or some of us should know, that what we eat affects our health, right? And we have a lot of lifestyle diseases that are all linked to what we eat. Lifestyle diseases such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, cancer, stroke, they have all been related or linked to what we eat. In fact, according to the UN, most of these lifestyle diseases that I've just mentioned, by the year 2030, they are predicted to be the major killer diseases. I'm really being distracted, sorry, because a lot of chats, the online people are not seeing the slides. I'm sorry, but there are about 5 different people that have said that. I don't know if you can look into that.
Huh? Yeah, I've seen everything.
The online people, okay. So yes, our diet contributes a lot. It plays a key role in how our health outcomes turn out, right? I just mentioned some lifestyle diseases that are linked to what we eat. And nutrition can no longer be ignored. Yes, the slides are up now. Nutrition can no longer be ignored, right? Because the world has gradually moved away from communicable diseases such as yeah, we can see it now. The world has moved away from communicable diseases such as tuberculosis, influenza. Now, the diseases that humankind is battling are diseases such as I've mentioned, cancer, stroke, kidney disease, and all of these are tied to our health, right? Now, according to UN, these lifestyle diseases are going to be the leading causes of death in 2023, by 2030 in Africa. And I want us to underline the country Africa. Why Africa? Why not Europe? Why not Japan? What is it that they are doing right that we are not doing? I want to tell you that one of the things that they are doing is that they have hacked into the secret of eating well. They have hacked into the secret of a healthy diet. These guys, they eat a lot of whole grains. They make whole grains part of their diet every day. While other countries, especially our African countries, we eat more of the refined grains. What do I mean by refined grains? Whole grains are simply grains that have the external part of the grains intact. And it's this part of the grain, the external part, that has the fiber, that has the nutrients, that has the antioxidants that keep us healthy. But because we want to make our food look good, and because we want to make our food last longer on the shelf, what manufacturers do, they remove the external part of the whole grains and leave us with the chaff. So we're eating chaff, and it's making us ill, it's making us sick, it's causing chronic illnesses. So what these other guys are doing, they're eating these whole grains intact, while we are eating them without the nutrients anymore. For example, our white bread, our white flour, our white rice, they're all good examples of refined grains. What again, these guys, these people, our counterparts in the Scandinavian countries, in Japan, in Korea, they also make it a habit of drinking tea. They drink tea every day. And please, when I say tea, I don't mean Milo, and I don't mean Ovaltine, and I don't mean Bonvita. When I mean tea, I mean real tea. In fact, if it's not in a bag, it's not tea. So when we talk about tea, we're talking about green tea, we're talking about oolong tea, we're talking about black tea, we're talking about jasmine tea, chamomile tea, all the different types of teas that are in a bag. Have you noticed some of us, yes, that go abroad, when you go to see people, the refreshment that they bring to you is mostly tea. Once you sit down, they ask you, do you want a cup of tea? Would you like some tea or coffee? That is what they drink. They don't drink just 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cups. But on the other hand, in Africa, right, these are just sugary things. So these are some of the things that I found out in my research and that I'm even seeing currently now where I'm living, that is a secret that our counterparts have hacked into, that we all need to have. That goes that if your diet is correct, if your diet is correct, medicine is of no need. You don't need medicine if your diet is right. Life and productive life in 2024. Moving quickly to number 2. From my research, I found out that people in the Scandinavian countries and Japan and all the other countries that live long, they practice what we call calorie. They eat only until they are 80% full. They don't eat until they are 100% full. They're saying that an Igbo saying, come on, Gadoni, right? And that's saying, that mentality, time we want to eat, we want to make sure that we must finish that food, and that is wrong. There are other places where where it can do, where we can put it. We can put it elsewhere. It mustn't be in our stomach. short sprints. You walk 30 minutes, you walk 45 minutes, you take a break. That's how the body was designed. But I've realized that in African countries, Nigeria especially, we don't embrace this habit of taking breaks. We feel that if you are going to be productive, it means that you have to continue working for long hours, and which is very wrong. Another thing that our counterparts in other countries do that works for them, that helps them in living long, is they go on vacations. I always use it as an example because once it's June, July now, everywhere shuts down. Everybody goes on summer vacation, and it's sacrosanct. There's no employer that can deny you from going on vacation once it's that period. And they do this every year. So this has become part of them. This has become like something that helps them de-stress. And because they do it every year, the bodies are used to it. So it's working for them, right? And when they go on these vacations, they go on vacation. They don't go on workation like we do in Africa. When we're on vacation and we are working, no. Your break, trust me, that business, it will continue to survive even if you're on break. That job, if you're not there, it will get done. Embrace the habit of going on planned vacations, right? And then that aspect of rest that I want us to talk about is the aspect of sleep. It's also an aspect of rest, right? Okay, before I talk about sleep, what rest will help your body to do is that it will help your body to rejuvenate, to repair wear and tear, right? If you keep on working for long hours without taking breaks, without taking vacations, you are damaging your body. And sleep is also very important because the body has something that is called NK cells. What are NK cells? NK cells are just natural killer cells. And what do these natural killer cells do? If there's any disease in the body, if there are any cancer tumor in the body, these NK cells, they fight the pathogens and then they make sure that the cancer cells, the cancer tumors don't spread. So NK cells are very powerful when it comes to boosting immunity and fighting pathogens. But what happens when we don't sleep enough? We actually destroy these NK cells by 70%. And that's now adequately, right? You're actually destroying the NK cells in the body. You are weakening your immune system. Have you ever wondered why sometimes after when you have maybe stressed yourself and you're feeling a bit down, by the time you have a good night's sleep, you feel better. Why? Because the body has simply reactivated its NK cells, reactivated its other cells that boost immunity. see it, right? The days of when we are robust, I remember growing up, when we become, robust and big, and then people talk to us, we'll be like, oh, it's evidence of good living. You understand? That was decades ago. It is no longer the case anymore. In fact, for me, when I see people who carrying excess weight, I see it as a risk factor for disease, because that's what it is. To be quite frank, I'm talking to us now like pals. To be quite frank, that's what it is. Because when you are carrying excess weight, what it does in the body is that it switches on the activation button for disease. It tells all the other diseases in the world to come. There are 150 medical complications that are tied to us being overweight. We need to make sure that we're not carrying excess weight, especially around our tummies, because that fat is toxic. It's called visceral fat, and it affects, because it is in the stomach where we have the vital organs, right? It affects the pancreas, the heart, it affects all the other the lungs. So it's a very, very dangerous place for us to have fat, the tummy. The good thing, because I'm not here to just say bad news, the good thing is that even if you're overweight and you lose just 5% of your body weight, it goes a tremendous way to reducing the risk of these 150 complications that are associated with right? And there are benefits for losing weight. There are benefits for carrying a healthy weight. Some of the benefits are you look younger. Thank God this is old boys. So you want to come into a place and people are asking you, oh, are you sure you're married? Are you sure you're this? I'm 20, have 4 children. They don't believe me. So what I do now, I don't even mention it anymore. And that is what, when you're carrying a good weight, when you're healthy weighted, that will reduce you, make you look younger. It will make you look good. You will look good. You will look young. You will look. It reduces the risk of all these chronic lifestyle diseases that I talked about. Now, I intentionally named this secret weight management. Why? Because the same way being overweight is a problem, is the same way being underweight is also a problem. Yes, there are also people who are underweight, and that is also risky. So it's important for you to find a balance, have a healthy weight. Make sure that your BMI 3.5 and 24.9. That is the ideal BMI. That's the BMI that people in Japan, Sweden, Scandinavian countries, their BMI is always within that range. And we need to look at this. We need to incorporate this. And especially, let me say this here. This also pertains to our children. Because I've noticed these days that our children are getting overweight. And sometimes it's our fault. Okay, the women are not here. Okay, the men, when you get home, tell the women, right? We allow our children to eat a lot of junk. And sometimes we do it intentionally. I'm also guilty of this. So I'm not standing talking to you as somebody who is perfect. Sometimes we want our children to be, chubby and robust because it makes us feel that they're eating well. That's not the case. That your child is chubby or that your child is big does not mean that that child is eating well. Does not mean that that child is healthy. The opposite is usually the case. These days, a lot of children have been diagnosed with diabetes as young as 11, as young as 9, as young as 10-year-olds are being diagnosed with diabetes. Why should that be? Diabetes now is no longer the sickness of the old. Teenagers, preteens are being diagnosed with diabetes. And it is actually very scary, because if you're an adult and you are diagnosed with adult onset, diabetes, you can manage it throughout your 40s, 50s. When it hits children, it's acute. It's acute. They don't. It's very scary. I don't want to just say more than that. And I have this burden, especially for children, which is why I wrote my book, Step by Step Child Nutrition. And I think if you don't have that book, you should get it. It will guide us in how we can help children to eat better. So please, for 2024, if we are overweight, it will be good for us to reduce our weight. If we are underweight, it will be good for us to add some weight, especially the women. Because when you're underweight, it affects fertility, it affects the production of estrogen that helps women to give birth. So it's two ways. Secret number 6, the secret of weight management. Let's move to the last secret before we round up for today. Okay, so this secret, we're talking about wellness programs in offices. Yes, I know some people do not work in offices. I know some people are self in wellness programs. If you can't get it done in the office, you can get it for yourself, right? Wellness programs are simply resources that the management employs to ensure that their staff are healthy, right? Now, what are these wellness programs? Let's take Microsoft for an example. Microsoft, Google, some of these places are actually the best places to work. And if you do your research, you find out that each of these places that have been named the best places to work, they actually have employee wellness programs. And what these employee wellness programs do, most of them, they have free membership for staff. They have on-site cafes, right, where they sell healthy food. They ensure that healthy food is obtainable within the workplace, right? So the person doesn't need to go out, doesn't need to stress themselves going out. Sit here, we are in positions of authority, or we're in positions where we can influence decisions in the office, right? So it's good for us to begin to help in stress management of mental health, because the truth of the matter is that 90%, if not more, of staff complain of being stressed at work, and stress is also linked to a large number of diseases. So these wellness programs, they help staff, they help staff to be more productive, they help to reduce elevated health risk, they improve mental health. And if you are in human resources, you also find out that more staff feel more engaged, more loved, more worthy, right, where they're held programs. Because if an employer can spend so much money to ensure that the staff is healthy, then it saves employee retainership, and it helps in, like I said, stress management, mental health issues, because a lot of people are having mental health issues that if these wellness programs are incorporated into the office, most of these mental health issues, other health related issues will be reduced drastically. And I think I've spent more than 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop with this one. I like to say that I don't believe so much in New Year resolutions, because by February, everybody had forgotten them. But I do believe in planning. I believe that if we plan our 2024 and take one or two, it must not be everything that I've said today that you will make part of your 2024, but the ones that resonate with you, please plan to do them. I believe in accountability, be your colleague, somebody who you do it. Then I believe in coaching. These are practical things that we can do to ensure that we live a healthier life in 2024 and also a more productive life. Thank you very much for listening. And if there are any questions, I'll also be willing to take a few before we end for today.
It's a round of applause. Madam the Mother. You've dissected this topic. We're about eating semo. So, and you told us some of the things we should be eating. That the people in Japan and other Scandinavian countries that eat. So after day, you may decide to now
with all you have made mention of today. But I wanted to find out me where you were like, while it's not good for one to be overweight, it's also not good for one to be underweight. So what weight or what someone weigh to be considered to be underweight? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Emeka.